Hey, what's up guys? To define a constant in PHP, you will type here define, and inside this function you will pass two parameters. The first parameter would be the name of your constant, and the second parameter would be the value that you want to store in this constant, like welcome to our company. To access the value of this constant, you will simply type your constant name like this, and you don't need to use the dollar sign in the beginning, and you don't need to type single quotes or double quote around your constant to access its value. Let me refresh my page. You can see that the value is printed on our screen. Now the question is, it is same as we declare a variable in PHP and we can store a value inside our variable, and here we are accessing the value of that variable. But what is difference in constant variable? In this video we are going to learn about PHP constants in detail. Without any delay, let's start. So friends, welcome to another tutorial of PHP and MySQL series. First of all, we will see the definition of constants. PHP constants are like variables, except that once they are defined, they cannot be changed or undefined. It means that in the upper side of your script, suppose once you assign a value to your variable, in the later of your program, you cannot change that value. That's the one of the biggest property of PHP constants. Inside our this example, suppose again if I copy this and paste here, and inside this company if I try to type find gap at this position, it means that we are going to change the value of this constant. Let's just see in the output what happened. When I will refresh the page, you can see that PHP is giving me an error that constant message already defined. But in case of variables, you can change the value of those variables. We know that when we declare variables in PHP, we define our variable name using dollar sign. Suppose if I want to declare a variable name message, I would type here message is equal to my message. But in case of constant, you don't need to type here dollar sign. Make sure the first letter of your constant would be a text like A to Z in uppercase or in lowercase, or you can also start a constant name with underscore sign. In the previous version of PHP Word supported a third parameter here like true, but now in the latest version of PHP it's deprecated, so we are not going to discuss that. You can also declare your constant in lowercase like this and access their values like this. Let me refresh my page. You can see that there is no difference in our output, but these constants are case sensitive. It means if you type here message in uppercase, you will not able to access that in lowercase. So keep in mind that constants are case sensitive. The next thing about PHP constants is constants are automatically global and can be used across the entire script. Suppose if I define a constant here like name, you can type these constants names in lowercase, but majority of the programmers use constants in uppercase. And suppose if I type here find gap and if I press semicolon here, now I will define a function here. We will learn more about functions in the coming tutorials, but currently to declare a PHP functions, you can use the function keyword and your function name. You can use any function name, and by using these brackets here, the code that I will write at this position will be executed when I will call that function. So I will type here show underscore name, and suppose here if I echo this name to understand the function calling, if I comment this at this position, you can see that we have typed here a function. You can see that in the output nothing is happening, because if you define a function, you need to call that function in your script to execute the code that you will write inside the body of your function. So here you can see that we have accessed easily this constant inside our function. But suppose if you declare a variable here like company, and if I store a value in it like cubic soul, but if I will try to echo this inside this my function, and if I press semicolon here, let me refresh this, you can see that PHP is giving me an error because the scope of this variable is global, but still to use this variable inside this function, you need to type here like global, which is a PHP keyword, and after this you need to type your variable name like company. And if I refresh this, you can see that now I can easily access that global variable inside this. But in case of PHP constants, you don't need to require this step. Similarly, scope of variables means, suppose if you define a variable inside a function, suppose I type here a and I assign a value 5 to my this variable, I cannot access this variable outside of this function like this. So you can see that PHP will again give me an error. The variable is undefined. We can only use this variable inside this function where we have declared it. So basically this was the concept of PHP variable scopes, and in this video we are just talking about PHP constants, and you can understand that we can use these constants inside the function or anywhere in the script without keeping in mind the scope. The last thing that I want to share you about PHP constant is in this tutorial is we can also define an array as a PHP constant. In PHP you can define arrays like this, and here I will type suppose fine gap, then I will press here comma, and then I will type here second name like cubic soul, and in the last I will type here a demo name like company. Here you can see that we have defined a constant with name, but I have assigned an array as a value to my this constant. Suppose if you want to access the value, you can easily use the same method like echo, and here I will type the constant name which is names, and here you have to type the index of your specific name that you want to access. Press semicolon, let me type here 1, which is the index of our this second name. If I will refresh this, it is giving me an error, and basically the error is we have declared a constant here with name, but at this position I have typed names. So I will remove this s from here, and if I refresh, you can see that I have accessed the second array element whose index is 1 easily by using this constant name. So friends, this was the tutorial about PHP constants. If you have any question, you can ask us in the comment section. We will try to answer your question, and please share this video with your those friends who want to learn programming, especially PHP language. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for our regular videos, and finally, thanks for watching.